Welcome to Fen Tour. Today I'm heading to Balderstone Motorcycles, BMW and a Royal Enfield dealer in Peterborough, just leaving the city of Ely, and I'm going to be test riding a brand new bike, a Royal Enfield Interceptor. It's a twin cylinder, classic looking bike. Quite excited to see how it feels and rides, see how the performance is compared to the other Royal Enfield bikes I have ridden and reviewed. So here we go across the fens. It's a very windy day today, and some storm, I'll put it up in the title, storm something, that's going across the country. Got all my waterproofs on just in case it precipitates heavily at some point. Fingers crossed though, the roads will stay dry and we'll have an enjoyable afternoon. Well, I survived the wind and I'm now on the Royal Enfield Interceptor. So let's see what my first impressions are. Smooth so far. I could have tested this bike a little earlier in the year, but as suggested by the guys at Balderstone's, get it through the running in period into the first service, which it has just done, and then I'm free to open it up. It should be nice to see how it goes. You know, it's pretty smooth. Pretty smooth. Oh, the wind. Keep that visor down, otherwise you won't be able to hear me. Let's get away from these miserable roads, though. That's most important. Quite a soft clutch. Well, that's pokey. More than pokey. It's decent performance, I would say. Well, it's very easy to ride, which is nice. Very smooth. Oh, there's the wind again. Very smooth. Very smooth indeed. And not a lot of vibration so far. But let's see what happens when we get up to the speed limit. Now we're in a more attractive environment, a village, and quieter roads ahead. So 30 miles an hour, probably in about 4th gear, just pulling along nicely, just over 2,000 RPM. Quite a good upright riding position, not a problem. To see well ahead, not leaning forward. Handlebars, if you can see, it's turning right here. Quite upright, and handlebars are quite upright. It's got a brace bar across as well. Whether that's just for looks or needed, don't know. One of the things though that if you're a reasonable height, I am 6'1". What's that in metric? 185 centimeters. It does mean that your knees are a little bit bent, so that's where we need to go. I'll say a little bit bent, quite a lot bent. So compared to the BMW I'm normally riding, or the Harley, which, well, Harley you have your legs almost straight, but the foot pegs are actually quite high off the road on this bike, and yet the seatlet is quite low. The low seat height being very suitable for many people, so that's a very good thing, I guess. But for me, it means my knees are quite bent. I prefer not to be quite so bent, have my knees quite so bent. Really is blowing outside. Outside? Well, I'm outside, but outside of the leather jacket. Now, compared to the Royal Enfield Classic 500, which once you hit 55 miles an hour started to vibrate, this is not vibrating. Now the brakes. Is it twin rotors or single rotor? Single rotor, I think. Feels pretty good. So very smooth. Let's see how the power feeds in. Yeah, certainly. If you wind it up, it starts to go quite quick. That was quickly up to 60. I think that's quite impressive, actually. If I put it in top gear, though, 50 miles an hour, the roll on 55, yeah, 60. Yeah, it's quite slow accelerating. So the sort of torque probably not that high, but I'm used to much bigger engines, of course. 1200cc. 1860cc, so yes. Right, let's turn right here. Completely lost. Never mind. Yeah, you get it over 5,000 and that really starts to shift along. Quite a nice sound. It's pretty impressive, actually. The engine, that is. Right, here we are. I'm going to go left here. Big bird of prey. If you get it over 4,500, 5,000, then it starts to actually do something interesting. But it doesn't sacrifice a nice, smooth, low-speed ride in a higher gear. Just don't expect much acceleration whilst you're in top gear, going 50. So I've got it in top gear, doing just under 30, and it will go along, actually. It's not complaining too much. Or 25 mile an hour corner, a little bit lumpy, but at 30 it's okay. With 30 miles an hour, I'll double check. I mean, yes, I am definitely in top gear. Yeah, that's pretty good. There's some nice villages out on the other side of Peterborough. I'm taking a slightly different route. Getting lost as well. Well, not lost. A slightly different route to what I normally would take for my road tests and reviews. I'm sure you're dying to see the bike. It's been going too much further before we'll park it up and have a look round. So if we say coming out of 30 top gear, yeah, it's alright. Let's go back down to 30. Fourth gear, third gear, second gear, there we are. Now, once it gets over 5, it starts to really get some momentum. Very good. Now, having said my knees are more bent on this bike than my other bikes, and certainly more bent than the other Royal Enfields I rode, I'm not uncomfortable. And I guess a lot of sports bike types, they're used to having their legs really through a very tight angle. Just not me. But it's not uncomfortable. So I don't think you should let that put you off. At least test ride one anyway, to make sure you're happy with the leg position. I wonder also if one was to get some freer flowing pipes, whether it would have a little bit more top end and be even more responsive for the occasional bit of performance riding. Who knows? I'll tell you what, today is so windy. So windy. And this helmet's a quiet helmet, but the wind is absolutely blowing. And we're only going 60. I think there's a 60 mile an hour wind or something today, or gusts of up to 60 miles an hour are predicted, so I need to also be careful. Potential for fallen trees and that sort of stuff. Well, the saddle. Next thing to mention is, as you'll see soon when we look at the bike, a long affair. One big piece for rider and pillion. I would guess it's probably quite a good bike for a pillion, actually. But anyway, it's quite hard. It doesn't have a lot of cushioning. Now, I have been going to the gym recently, and I've got a personal trainer, and I've been doing a lot of exercises for all parts of the body, and it may be that my posterior is becoming a little bit thinner and therefore needs more padding from the seat. Just a small theory there, completely stupid theory. But anyway, remember when I rode the Royal Enfield Classic 500, that was extremely comfortable, really, really superb seat. And I went on to try the Himalayan, which the seat was a bit too hard, and just after 30 odd miles I was feeling it. Well, the jury's out at the moment on this seat, but let's see how I'm feeling towards the end of this test ride and review. One of the nice things about this bike, again, is the price. I believe it's not too much over £6,000. I'll put the figure up because of stupidly, I should have looked it up before I got on board. Anyway, this is one nice figure for buying a new bike. The other is, I believe it's got around 48 horsepower, which is quite respectable. It certainly feels like it too. I'm going to go right here. This is a dead-end village, and we'll see if we can find a nice spot to look at the outside. It's got a nice exhaust note, very nice. If you can hear that above the wind. Very nice. It's not loud, but it's meaty enough. It's not bad for a standard exhaust. Right, the daffodils are out. It's that time of year. Wonderful. Yeah, thought there was a pub here. Maybe that's no longer a pub, I don't know. It does say Patrons Car Park, doesn't it? This is the Royal Enfield Interceptor, as viewed from outside. Found a very nice, quiet village to look at this bike. I do like this orange fuel tank. It really sets the bike off nicely against the chrome and polished alloy. Got some pretty good features to this bike. Those nice upturned exhaust, traditional, which actually give out a reasonable amount of sound. We've got twin rear shocks. Well, as you'd expect, it's pretty much an absolute classic looking bike, but without all the problems of an old bike, and a lot cheaper than an old bike, and it's brand new. I'll put the price up again for those that maybe missed it earlier, but it's pretty good value. Looks like it's going to suit pillions very nicely. Fat seat at the back, a bit thin for my bottom at the front, maybe. We'll see. It's lovely air cooled and oil cooled 650cc engine. Again, horsepower, I think 48. I'll put that up to confirm. Quite a big disc at the front, single disc with twin pots. Let's check the rear brake. Yeah, a reasonable disc, single pot as one would expect. But it's really attractive. I like it. You know, you park that by a pub, people are going to chat to you. If they didn't see the registration plate, they'll probably think it's a real, proper old classic. Very nice. I think Royal Enfield are probably onto a winner with this. Classic bike, looks low cost, and with some decent performance. Can't lose. Right, I'm going to get riding and some nice coffee. Back on the Interceptor. Much more sheltered than this village. Very quiet village. See how we get on. Right, here we go. It is quite rapid. Can't really complain about the performance. Not complain about the performance at all. Unlike the other Royal Enfields where you're sort of resigned to pottering along at the speed limit, this, well, ideally you need to keep the speed limit, but this at least has some go. You can overtake. You can enjoy bike performance. You can hear it echoing off the walls of the village here. Wasn't really a village, is it? It's a sound door. I guess small town? Yeah, a small town, just. Or very big village. Small town, I think. Let's go here. That'll do nicely. Well, very nice coffee again in Oundle. It does look good, doesn't it, this bike? It does look good. Feels quite reasonable size too. engine on. I'm not in neutral. There we are. Lovely. Very nice. I'm going to take pretty much a similar route to what I came today. I've got a bit less time available to my normal sort of reviews, so I need to make headway. So I'm not going to do quite as many miles, but it'll be more than enough to have a good conclusion for this rather nice bike. Very easy bike to ride, very easy. A really gentle clutch. Ideal really for someone who's coming back to biking, I would say, after a time away, or someone quite new who's allowed to ride a bike with this much power. I don't know what the power limits are now. I guess this is too powerful for a oh, I don't know. I was lucky to pass my test so long ago. Once you passed, you rode what you wanted. Comfortable. I think a bit more padding in the seat for me would be nice, but it's really my only criticism of this bike. It really very little vibration. Suspension ironing out the bumps nicely. It's all very good. Brakes pretty good, more than adequate. Right, let's see how we get on with it. Right, up we go. 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. Change up at 7, and it goes. Oh my goodness. Don't look. Quite a satisfying performance, really is. Now, one of the things I'm not very good at is going fast. Well, I wouldn't say not very good at, that I don't do. Because I don't go cranking around corners. But, for my amounts of lean angle, I would say that it feels quite stable in corners. Even 25 mile an hour corners like that one. Yeah, top gear through the village, 30 miles an hour. Quite relaxing. Now travelling at 40 miles an hour, there's no one behind me to hold up. And it's very relaxing. In top gear, just doing, well, just over 40, 3,000 RPM. Don't know if the GoPro picks up the clocks. Anyway, quite nice. So let's see what it's like at 50. Okay, fine. 50 miles an hour. No vibrations. Nothing to make you go numb. Get past this crossroads and we'll get up to 60. There we go. 6 miles an hour. Actually, no, I think it feels better at 60. The engine is smoother than it is at 50. Just feels better. So if you're out with a bunch of Royal Enfield buddies, you're going to feel a little bit held back by them, I think, compared to this fire-breathing, tarmac-ripping Royal Enfield. And yeah, really nice exhaust note. Yeah, once you get over the 4.5 And certainly once you get over 5,000 revs, this bike starts to take off. Really, really impressive. And a lot of fun. I'm certainly glad that the guys suggested I waited until it was running. Because of course running in would be keeping the revs below the performance centre of this bike. Well, and also even if you do defy running in periods, the engines are not quite freed up, still a little bit stiff, so they don't really perform properly, in my opinion, until they've done a few hundred miles. We're certainly covering ground quicker than that car. It's a rather nice road. Here we go. Bye bye little car. No problem overtaking. Wonderful. Very nice roads. What a super machine. Well, I'm going to give some conclusions now. Should you buy a Royal Enfield Interceptor? Well, firstly, it's by far the best Royal Enfield bike I've ridden. It's the only one I've ridden that performs. If you want a new bike and you want something to look retro, this is awesome. Of course, there's Triumph and those and other brands out there that look beautiful too, but substantially more money. So again, this is a classic modern bike, new for less than a classic old bike by a lot, with performance you can enjoy. It's quite nice because, you know, modern bikes often have a lot of mid-range power. My GS, for instance, you don't really need to rev it. This bike, yeah, it's gentle and smooth, it pulls okay, but once you get above that 4,500-5,000, really starts taking off. I like that. It's got that old-fashioned top end. Brilliant. Nice one, Royal Enfield. Go back to seating position. Yeah, my legs are a bit bent, but I'm not uncomfortable. It's very good ground clearance. Pegs are up high. Yeah. Good visibility. Nice upright position. I like that. Pillion seat looks to be absolutely super, so should be excellent for taking the boss out on the back. Yeah, we're certainly handling these roundabouts nicely. There we go. Oh, I like that. I love the way the power feeds in above 5,000. Very nice. Satisfying performance. Of course, the looks of this bike. Park it outside a pub. Sunny afternoon. You're going to have plenty of people chatting to you. Hide the number plate so it looks old. Even more people talking. The only thing I would suggest is that it's not a bike. I mean, I'm suggesting it, I don't know, I may be wrong, but I would think that the finish quality, which looks fine, is probably less durable than other bikes I could mention, but other bikes have cost a lot more money. So I propose it's still a bike for sunny, dry days, garaging, polishing, pampering, looking at, riding out for fish and chips, riding out for a beer, half of course, riding out for a coffee, just riding for no reason at all but to ride. As well, what else do us motorcyclists do? We ride for no reason, don't we? We'll ride 100 miles just to get fish and chips when we could have gone to one a mile away from our homes. Completely insane, but brilliant. So yeah, I'm really quite impressed with this bike. Royal Enfield Interceptor. Get yourself a test ride. Quite impressive. And one final thing, those who would probably think about touring, I reckon you could put quite a decent top box on the back of this. Maybe even panniers. Certainly got the performance to keep with traffic. Speed limits, cruising, not a problem. As long as you're comfortable when you test ride one, there's no reason you couldn't go on some nice tours with this bike. Not a problem at all. Again, back to the basics. It's easy to ride, dead easy. Brilliant. Back, you know, someone coming back to biking, I would say, you want to buy a new bike, coming back to biking, this is a really, really sensible budget option that you'll love. You'll be very happy with. You certainly won't feel ripped off. Of course, one other thing I forgot to mention is that for a commuter town riding bike, very easy, very easy. Light. Well, it feels light to me. Probably isn't light. I'll put the weight up somewhere. Very smooth clutch. Yeah, great town bike, I would say. Mirrors are good. Yep, all good. So we're keeping it at 4,000 revs. Oh yes. Yeah, get it over 4,000 and you're a happy bunny. Right, here we are back at Balderston Motorcycles. So if you want to test ride one of these and you live in East Anglia, get over here to Balderston and you'll be made very welcome by the guys here. Ask for Matt and you'll soon be a happy bunny riding this rather nice bike, or one of their other demonstrators. But be warned, you'll probably buy one if it's the sort of thing you're looking for, because it's absolutely super. That was most enjoyable. Most enjoyable. I was just talking to Matt. So again, he's the guy to call if you want to get test riding one of these, the Interceptors. It's selling quite a few of them, and it's mostly been to people for a second bike. I can understand that. You've got one of these R1200 GSs or something, and you want something for that Sunday run to the pub. something that's less practical, looks fantastic, doesn't break the bank. Interceptor does that, and still fun to ride. I think they've all been enjoying riding it there as well. They said the same as me. You know, once you get those revs up, it's a lot of fun. But as I may have said before in some video of the past, really, you need a few bikes to be totally happy. One bike is fine. If I could only have one bike, it would probably be this, or the adventure model. But really, you need a few, at least two bikes, two very different bikes. That's just my opinion. And I have friends who have multiple bikes, and even then they've not got enough to keep them satisfied with the variations between them all. For me, the Harley Fat Bob really does a lot for me. It's got that look, parked by the pub, summer ride. But the Royal Enfield does a lot of that for a fraction of the price. Absolute fraction of the price. So I can really understand why it's selling so well as a second bike, especially to BMW riders. Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the review today of the Royal Enfield Interceptor. If you're in the market for one, I really hope that that's been worthwhile watching, and you'll get yourself a test ride booked as soon as possible. Thank you for watching, Fentor, and we'll see you soon. Bye bye.